The McShin Foundation is Virginia's leading peer-to-peer recovery community organization. So if you or a loved one is struggling with addiction, let us get you connected. Build your self-esteem and lead you to a solid foundation in your recovery. Check us out.
My name is Denise, and I'm a person in long-term recovery. And what that means for me is I haven't been to jail lately. I have my kids. I go to work every day, sometimes twice a day. I have family in my life, and I actually enjoy life. Now, it wasn't always like that, so really quickly, I'm going to start with my last time out. I was running through the woods of Chesterfield County, and I just finished, stealing batteries from Lowe's department store, and not car batteries. They were little Energizer Bunny batteries, and I want to say I was ready at that time, but I wasn't. So there had to be divine intervention, right? I had my son with me who was 7 years old. We were in Lowe's. I decided to, being greedy as, all of us are, like one is too many and 1,000 is never enough. Instead of taking just a few batteries from the display, I decided to take the whole display. And I left my son in the car when the police stopped me, and I ran in the woods. I stayed in the woods about 4 hours, and let me tell you, if any of you, how many of you have ever been locked up in Chesterfield County? They are relentless. They always get their man. I'd been over the river, through the woods, gotten to the other side, came up at this subdivision, and we're, just excellent liars here. So I saw these two guys go into their car, and I said to myself, I'm going to tell them that I just was raped. Of course, I looked like it. And could they please take me to the hospital? That way I'd get from around the dragnet that they had for me for stealing batteries. Just so happened, cop was coming down. He was turning around, and he said, have you seen this black girl? And he said, that's her. So if any of you have ever been arrested, it's on the ground, knee in your back, hands tied. But there was this one cop, and he said, you left your son in the parking lot, and he's still there. And you don't want him to see you looking like that. So he took off his jacket, and he gave me his jacket. He tried to fix my hair, but he's a white guy and black hair. He didn't know what to do with it. He did the best he could. But here's what I want to tell you, right? Us women, we have different issues. We are anatomically different to the delight of you men. But on the other side of it, addiction presents other struggles for us. So, I just told you about my son. Well, what ended up happening is I get locked up. He goes to stay with a friend. A friend calls my sister, second or third time, I can't remember which one it was that she'd gotten him, and she takes him and she says to me, you're never going to get him back. And for a mother, I can only speak from a mother's perspective, that is devastating. We can be drug addicts, we can be prostitutes, we can be whatever you want to call us. It doesn't change the bond between a mother and her child. So what happens in recovery? If you want to go to treatment, if you're lucky enough to get into a treatment program with your child, it's institutionalized, right? And you take your kid with you to this institution, right? Or if you're not, you're separated. So here's the problem, and then I'm going to get to the solution. The problem is, and I think Moses talked about it, that this disease affects the entire family. So it affected my son. When I got clean, after he'd been with my sister for a year, and he came back, and I saw him, and he saw me, and I was like, I don't know whose damn child that is. That's not the kid I left behind. He was smart-mouthed. He was arrogant. He said things to me that, being clean, I was like, I struggled with keeping him. What happens to us when we use and we leave those little kids behind when we're using? They grow up, but in our minds, the kids don't grow up. He was still this little boy. I said, do you want to go to an Easter egg hunt? He said, I don't do Easter egg hunts. He was still this little boy for me. And so in treatment, they treat the disease. But what comes with the disease is a plethora of issues for our children and for women. Now, I happen to be one of those who, I wanted my son back. But I need to say this to you ladies that are here. If you have kids, it is okay if when you get clean and the smoke clears, that you decide that you don't want to be a mother. I'm going to say it again. When you get clean and you figure out that being a mother is not for you, it is okay. Just because we have babies doesn't mean that we're mothers. Just like when you guys father them, don't mean that you're fathers. What it means is some of us have it and some of us don't. And I respect a woman when she says, I can't do this. I think that my child will be better with another family that can give him or her the love and care that they need. I don't have it. And sometimes that's the case. But society has a tendency, and sometimes our family members, to say, you need to get clean for your kids. You need to get clean so you can come and get your kids. And I know so many women who have gotten clean, gotten their kids, and gone back out because they could not say those words like, I don't want to be a mother. I'm not cut out to be a mother. And as women, we have to be able to support each other. And what that support means is, when I got clean, let me tell you something. And I don't see her here. She said she was coming, but I don't see her. When I got clean and before I had my son, there was a woman who used to come to the meetings all the time, and she'd bring her kids, right? And she had a son that was the age of my son. And she allowed me to love on him because I needed to love on somebody's child because I did not have mine. And she allowed me to do that. She allowed me to learn to love again before I even got my child back. Recovery is one of those things for women that not only are the drugs an issue, right, but all the other female stuff that comes with it. So the solution is, I believe in family recovery. I believe that if a woman has kids and she's got a significant other, brother, sister, whatever it is that makes up their family, that family recovery should be available for everybody, including the kids. I do not believe that kids need to be separated from their mother in order for their mother to recover if that is what they need to do. I do not believe that a kid needs to go to a school separate from a recovery school like McShin has so that the mother and the child and the family and everybody can recover together. That's the solution. It's not separation. It's togetherness. And it's about bringing recovery home. That's what family is. And that's what the family of McShin does. And I appreciate you. Thanks for letting me share.